Hello, class. Since it's been just absolutely beautiful outside lately, and it's also the beginning of spring, I thought we could create something very relevant to current events and an outside activity most people enjoy. The Masters is a worldwide golfing competition played by some of the most amazing golfers on some of the most beautiful courses over the country. For today's assignment, I will ask you to create a mini golf course. You will work in groups of 3, and each course is required to have 3 holes. So that means one individual hole per student. The requirements of this course are on the paper I've provided. The entire course that is created among the group will follow the important requirements on the sheet. The listed attributes I'm asking for in each course is not to be mistaken to be created for each individual hole. For example, 3 says you need at least 5 displays of parallel lines. This does not mean each individual hole should have 5 sets of parallel lines, but instead between the 3 holes that make up the course, there should be at least 5 different displays of parallel lines. For this assignment, I also want to allow the opportunity for creativity. Each group's mini golf course should have a theme that all the holes are revolved around. Anything ranging from ladybugs, beach days, or NC State Wolfpack are some examples. The detail and creativity parts have no limits here, and I would love to see what all you come up with. We will be using the advanced technology tool of Geometry Sketchpad to construct these courses. After you have correctly constructed your courses, I will need another page added to the file where you display each attributes requiring factors. For example, label what makes a right angle by measuring that angle and displaying that on the picture, as well as providing a correct and accurate definition of what a right angle is. This part is displayed on the second page of the example I have shown you. Hello, my name is Sarah, and I'm having some trouble with the hiding parts of the segments that I don't want when I construct parallel lines on the golf course mini hole part of the outline. When I construct 2 sets of parallel lines, I go to put the segment pieces on the end, the endpoints on the line, and when I do so, and I go to Command H and hide the line, it hides the entire line but leaves me with the 2 endpoints, and I cannot figure out what I'm doing wrong. Hi, my name is Jacob, and after constructing my objects, I'm on part 2 where I have to do the proofs and the definitions and show the measurements of what makes each attribute itself. And I'm trying to measure the length of a side of my mini golf course hole, and I am struggling because sometimes when I try to measure the length, and I go to construct and measure it, sometimes it pops up distance as an option, and sometimes it pops up as length, and I'm just having a hard time figuring out which one is which and why they both are the same thing. Hello, my name is Peyton, and I'm having a lot of success in creating most of the requirements for each hole. Where my group is having trouble is in constructing the measure of our angles in the projection shot of each hole. When we create the segments and try to create the angles between them, we do the drag test on them and we see that they don't stay acute or obtuse or whichever one we're trying to shoot for. So we're just having trouble with how we should design these and how we should make them to pass the dragging test. Alright guys, thanks for all of your hard work and participation. Before we move on too much further, I want us all to address these concerns and questions that were brought up to us from our other classmates, so that just in case y'all have some of the same confusions and questions arise, they can already be addressed. Alright, so in groups, I want us to use our mathematical reasoning skills to justify and identify, explain, and teach our other classmates on how we would approach these particular problems and how these issues can be addressed and fixed. First, let's begin with Sarah's problem. She states that she has constructed a set of parallel lines, but after she plots the two endpoints on the line that she wants to help create her segment, she clicks the hide option, and the entire line is gone, leaving her with only 2 endpoints and not the entire line. Let's try to identify where Sarah is going wrong and come up with a way to help fix this issue. Next, I want you to discuss Jacob's problem. His is a little different. He says that he is attempting to show the measure of the length of some of the sides for the proof portion of this assignment, And he says that sometimes when he tries to measure the sides, he's given only measure the length option, and sometimes he's given to measure the distance. He doesn't understand why they would always only give you one option, and he doesn't also understand that both of them, when you select them, that they equal the same thing. Can someone justify why both these measure options of length and distance can work and give you the same measure using correctly, and why this option is available? Lastly, Peyton's problem is one I expected many of you to struggle with. In your groups, I want you to all conjecture some reasons and figure out a way to make sure this projection path of the shot of the golf ball passes the drag test. Our group calls ourselves the Cheeseburgers because that's our favorite food. We think we found where Sarah is going wrong. We think it's where she plots her two endpoints. She is forgetting the important step of actually creating the segment on top of the line between those points. This actually constructs the segment itself between the 2 points and then remains after your attempt to hide the line, because the 2 points don't necessarily just plot the segment itself. You have to create the segment between the 2 points on the line. We call ourselves the Royals because we think we're royalty, and we decided to identify Jacob's problem. When we selected 2 endpoints on the line, the measure of the distance was the option between those 2 objects. But when we click the actual segment, the measure is the length of the segment. The distance from the 2 endpoints is also the same as the measured length of the segment. We are Group Penguin. It took us a while to conjecture how to correctly lay out the projection of the ball so that it would pass the drag test, but we did it. The key thing is for every single angle created, you must construct it using the circle, making the vertex the center of the circle and the 2 endpoints of the segment lines lay on the edge of the circle.